1. The church I served as pastor for more than 20 years had a janitor, Greg. Greg was on the job before I arrived. He had some sort of intellectual disability and had a tendency to behave in ways that might strike many people as a bit odd and immature for a grown man, but he did his job well. One of the tasks he attended to was lock up the place at night. That usually consisted of coming back to the site at around 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. to do a walkthrough, turn off all the lights and lock all the doors at the many entrances. Greg was a creature of habit, and did this part of the job very well. He was also adamant that we keep any lights off that weren't absolutely necessary, so he was known to walk around the building in the dark. Greg was also known to blast oldies music on a boombox when he worked, so loudly that it could be heard from rooms far away from where he might be working. As much as I like rock and roll, it became disruptive to have such loud music blasting, so I gave him an iPod so he could rock out while working without disturbing others. The problem with that was Greg had a tendency to sing along with the music coming into his earbuds. It was quite loud and out of tune and slurred so that it actually sounded like a murmur, moan, or gibberish. I had to ask him to not sing along so loudly during daytime hours or in areas where others were because it was distracting. Greg also had a strange gait to his walk, a sort of shambling stumble. The shamble-stumble became exacerbated at one point because he had gotten a sore knee from a slip and fall, and Greg really played up the oversized brace with ace bandages, as was his wont whenever he got a bump or cut, or other injury that could use bandages or slings or braces. He was like a little kid showing off, and it gained him expressions of concern and doting from others, which he really ate up. So anyways, one night my daughter and a dozen or so of her teenage peers in the youth group had a lock-in in the church. A lock-in is basically an all-night party for kids with 1 or 2 adult chaperones, at which they stay up all night to watch movies and play video games and eat junk food, and play ping-pong and air hockey, and a lesson plan and spooky storytelling, and the favorite, hide and seek. This is a huge old building with multiple additions and levels and nooks and crannies and long hallways and several different stairways. The kids had the run of the place for hide-and-seek, with the only rule being, don't exit the building, so these kids wait until it's good and dark, and then the game is afoot. Off they scatter to find their respective hiding places in this huge and dark building. It's all spooky fun after all. Isn't being a little spooked the whole point of it? But little did the kids know that Greg the janitor was due to arrive around 10 p.m. to do his rounds of checking all the doors and such and locking up the place. Just as he always did, Greg entered the building keeping all the lights off, and he proceeded to do all his rounds of the place. But this particular night he was wearing his iPod and mumbling, moaning his sing-along, while his shambling and stumbling gait was especially pronounced with his bum knee. Greg had no idea the building was occupied by a dozen or so teens, all hopped up on Mountain Dew and Skittles and ghost stories and engaged in a large-scale game of hide-and-seek, thereby stowing away in various and sundry hiding spots throughout the edifice. The kids had no idea Greg was scheduled to do his rounds in the dark, only exit signs to illuminate the interior and whatever outside streetlights were able to peek in, while mumbling and moaning to his iPod and stumbling and shambling and dragging one leg as he went through the entire darkened building to secure it. Reports have it that the kids were convinced a zombie had entered the building and was hunting for brains. A mass panic ensued as Greg shambled throughout the darkened building, but his pod was so loud he couldn't hear the shrieks of terror all around him as he continued his inexorable zombie shamble while he moaned and mumbled along with the music in his earbuds. The kids gave up the standard hide-and-seek and were running for their lives trying to warn others with cell phones and acts of valor. This went on for several minutes until Greg himself came face to face, unexpectedly, with 2 cowering and screaming teens who had hidden together in a broom closet Greg had entered, because it held the shut-off switch for the bathroom fans. This caused Greg himself to scream in surprise and terror and anger, which made the 2 teens panic push Greg, with his bum knee, out of the way as they ran past him to warn others of the location of the shambling, moaning zombie. Lesson learned: communication is important when sharing a building with many people. 2. This happened this morning. and is very much a poop story. I've taken fiber pills every day for most of my adult life, and you should too. Fiber is good for you. I typically take 3 to 4 pills a day, which is about 3 grams of fiber. A doctor recommended it a long time ago, and I've always just done it. Never really thought much about it. I've been on a bit of a health kick lately, and reading up on gut microbiome and the benefits of diversity of plants in your diet. One of the popular things I've seen is superfood powders with a bunch of different plants in them. I picked up a tub for my smoothies I typically make in the afternoons for lunch. While browsing for superfood powders, I find a fiber powder and think, that would be great instead of taking the pills. I'll just add that to my smoothie. Next afternoon, Amazon brings my new lunch items and I excitedly get some blueberries and a banana ready to mix up. I put a scoop of my new superfood powder in. It smells like wet hay. I responsibly read the label of my new fiber powder and follow those directions to a T. 2 scoops. Seems like a lot when it's in my blender, but whatever, fuck it. I drink my smoothie and it tastes great. Lunch was a success. A few hours later, and I take some of my regular supplements before dinner. Nothing crazy, some fish oil, some natural plant-based stuff, my regular fiber pill regimen. As soon as I swallowed the fiber pills, I immediately thought to myself, oh shit, that smoothie. This is probably way more fiber than you need in a day. I read the fiber powder bottle, and the serving size is 6 grams. A quick glance at the superfood powder, 3 more grams. I took 4 times the usual amount of fiber supplements in a few hours, not including the rest of the fiber from my high plant diet. I laugh and think to myself that I should make sure my phone is charged all day, because I may need to spend a few hours near the shitter at any point. Now the fuck up. I had to wake up early and drive about an hour for work this morning. On the drive down, started feeling the fiber work after a cup of coffee. Then I hit a red light for the longest train known to mankind, and I start to really need to shit. It starts getting really uncomfortable, and I literally almost shit my pants while sitting at a train. I unbuckle my belt and unzip my pants, hoping that will help as I'm sweating from holding in the pressure of this building. Train finally ends, and I'm 15 minutes from my meeting. There's no way all parties involved are making that meeting. One of us needs to go, like, right fucking now. I pull into a rundown neighborhood and grab a brown paper sack from my kid's preschool sitting in the seat next to me. If you turn it upside down, it was a puppy with construction paper ears. Fucking adorable. I jump into the back seat and start unloading. I don't know where I was storing it all. It would have made a goose blush. Now, this sack was not completely empty. It had some papers and a couple of napkins wadded up in there before I defiled it. Even so, I started getting close to the top with no sign of stopping. Then the same thing that's happened every time I've ever shit in my adult life started happening. I started to piss. In my haste to stop number 1, I took my eyes and hand off number 2, and the bag fell down to the floor mat. Keep in mind, the soft nerve machine is still very much flowing. Needless to say, I've made a mess. Once enough pressure is let off, and my sphincter has a shred of hope to hang on to for a few minutes. I clean up and get back to driving with a mess in the back even my dog would be ashamed of. I pull into a gas station and run inside to finish what I started, then throw away what I can toss and the floor mat into the bed of the truck. I stroll into my meeting an hour late like nothing happened. 3. I was feeling dizzy before a workout as I was a bit dehydrated. I usually bring some liquid, but forgot to that day. Usually I go to McDonald's and grab a large unsweetened iced tea for the gym. Better than coffee, and it wakes me up for the workout and is only $1. Screw up number 1. Oh well, in my slight lightheadedness, I think I'll just have some water at the fountain in the middle of the workout. Screw up number 2. After an hour on the treadmill, my throat starts to stick a little. I had my mask on and was doing a slow jog 7 miles per hour. Just enough for me to breathe through the mask just fine, and didn't have to remove it once in the hour I spent on the machine. I hop off the treadmill, and the first feeling I get is the rush of blood running away from my brain. It only lasted about a second, but anyone getting up too fast from sitting or squatting a long time will know the feeling. It's also the same feeling as the dizziness of being drunk. That was a good time for that drink, but because of COVID, the fountains were turned off and you're supposed to bring your own water. Oops. Okay, whatever, I'll power through this. There's only the light weights I was going to do today anyways. It'll be fine. Screw up number 3. Yep, I go through with my hour of light weights, and at the end, my shirt was very sweaty and I'm feeling very dizzy and lightheaded at the end, but it passes. Anyone who's had that feeling would know it's actually a little euphoric, and a great end is the shower. This is where I should point out that I'm in terrible COVID condition. My belly is huge, and my mother pointed out that I looked pregnant when I went to open the fridge door without my shirt on. This is also important. In my dehydration, I'm not drunk dizzy, but impaired enough to forget to take off my shirt and mask as I take my towel with me to the shower. There's no one else taking a shower, as it was a pretty early workout, so I had my usual stall by habit, which is close to the entrance. I turn on the shower and let the water hit my chest. The feeling is amazing. This is where everything goes wrong. I'm still in my sweaty shirt and I decide I should take it off, with my mask still on. The shirt sticks to my skin and rotund belly, making it very hard to remove. Now both of my arms are up and the shirt is stuck to my face and mask, with the water now filtering through the shirt and mask blocking my nostrils. This is where I found out how horrible waterboarding is. The wet mask and shirt make it instantly extremely hard to breathe as the nostrils are blocked. Instinct says to use the mouth, which is primarily blocked, and I start to hyperventilate, which sends water into the lungs and causes me to cough and panic. I take a few steps back with my arms still up and spin around to get away from the water. 2 very strong arms lift up my shirt and my mask with it, whereupon I'm confronted with 2 ebony pecs even the Rock would be envious of. Just below these pecs are the abs of Hercules that puts my pear-shaped physique to shame. That's when the water decides to leave the lungs and I start hacking, connected to this torso of discipline and genes of envy. I am hacking spittle onto the biggest penis I've ever seen this side of porn. The glorious footlong, inches from my face, where previously only a Subway sandwich had been. The manliest of hands pat my back like I'm a baby being burped. Through tears and embarrassment, we both realize there's a third person that just walked in, me bent over coughing, and the heat from his giant schlong caressing my face. Said person turns on heels and nopes out. I utter some thanks to my savior, and we both decide it's best not to talk about it, and finish our showers. Mine was the shortest shower I'd ever had, and rushed to dress and possibly find previous third person to hopefully explain, but he was gone by then. On my way out, my Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, whose Johnson I was inches away from, is done with his shower. He has a look of don't say anything, but I spend a few minutes with him thanking him as he's getting dried and dressed. He seems cool with it, I think, but I haven't been back in weeks. 4. First, the usual disclaimers. No rattlesnakes were harmed in the making of this post. Contains frank discussions of human genitalia. A lot of cock in this video. Many years ago, when I was 11 years old, at the beginning of summer, my younger brother and I are enrolled in a school-sponsored 10-day summer science camp. Now it's a day camp. We show up at the school in the morning and get returned back to the school in the afternoon or evening, so most of the excursions have to fit within a time frame of things that can be done in one day. And as several of them are in a nearby major city, like the Natural Museum and Planetarium visits, this isn't much of an issue. One day we are going out into the desert. We will be in the bus 4 hours just to get there, and another 4 hours coming back. We are going to a site that is known for its mineral richness. We are rock hunting with certain precious and semi-precious stones in particular on the menu. And it is interesting and fun. But it is getting to be time to head home. Many are acutely aware that while lunch was provided, there have been no bathroom accommodations because we are, well, out in the middle of the desert. So, before the long drive back, they park the bus somewhat strategically and say, girls on that side, boys on this side, find a nice tree, and let us know if you need any paper. I pick a properly shielded juniper tree and unzip and let whiz fly, only to be greeted with a warning rattle. I look and find I am relieving myself on a live rattlesnake. And he does not seem too very happy about the arrangement. I start backing up while trying to stop midstream, not an easy thing for an 11-year-old to do, and squeal out, "It's a rattlesnake!" So instantly everyone, boys and girls alike, flock to see. I'm trying to stuff what stuff the good Lord gave me back into my pants and zip up as everyone is coming over en masse. And I'm not going to lie, it's a bit of a there's something about merry moment as some of the Frank gets caught up in the hasty zip job. It is beyond painful, but no time to fix it now with half the school watching. While the teachers take back control of the situation, quarantine the tree with the snake, and get the girls back on the other side of the bus, I limp over to another tree, and this time look to make sure I won't be pissing on any other beasts of nature. Getting unzipped again is no great pleasure, but at least no blood. I arrange things better after, but I'm still sore for a few days. The morale, so yeah, after that for me. Rule number 1 for being in the desert has always been, check under that tree so you don't piss on rattlesnakes. Rule number 2, it's better to get bit on your penis by a zipper than a rattlesnake. But still not a good idea. Especially when you're 4 hours away from civilization. 5. It was a pretty regular afternoon. Did a home workout and then after lying and recovering on the mat for 15 minutes went for a shower. Hair was looking greasy and there's a bunch of it, so I thought I would quickly wash my hair with the 2-in-1 Head & Shoulders Old Spice shampoo. I remember when buying it I thought, what a great combination, good smell and 2-in-1. Win-win. Bit of history, 2 weeks ago, I also installed a new shower head with 5 modes, that I took out the water-saving device so it basically shoots rockets at you, and also I have a young son that stays basically week on week off. Fast forward back to my shower, and I put the shampoo in my hands. At this point I thought to myself, I had put way too much in my hands but carried on, and then tried to not make the mistake of having it going on the floor as per usual. So, with a fairly quick action, I went to place the shampoo in my hair. Shit got real quick. I launched a whole bunch of undiluted Old Spice-smelling shampoo straight into my left eye, which felt like napalm and smelled like pure regret. Definitely was not part of the ad. At this point, I knew I had messed up. I went straight for the towel hanging up, but this was undiluted volcano lava at this point, and the towel did nothing. I then turned around to the new shower head and tried to change the mode so it wasn't peppering my face like a minigun or an Apache gunship. And this whole time the burn was intense. When I got the shower head into a mode which was about as powerful as my old shower head and tried to eject the lava and get the burning to stop, it was somewhat effective. Then I remembered that there is a few cups on this side of the shower from when my son uses it. But after filling one up and giving it a quick smell, couldn't agree that there wasn't soap in the bottom of that cup either. I wasn't going to voluntarily put myself through any more pain. Bear in mind, this is all in about 15 to 20 seconds at this point. Then I try to wash my eye out for about 10 more seconds, and it's feeling a bit better, but I then remember that I had an eye wash kit in the cupboard. So I step out of the shower into the cold bathroom, and it's a chilly fall day in Canada, and I haven't really turned the heat on yet, so soaking wet, one eye closed, I reach into the bathroom cabinet to find the eye wash kit. Pull that out of the box, take the lid off, and put the liquid in the cap, and then put it to my eyes. The eye wash liquid, or we will call it glacier water, was absolutely freezing. My poor eye is on a roller coaster from hell, but it seems to be feeling better after a few seconds. I then get back in the shower, turn it back onto the minigun setting, and put my head down and just let the water run down my face and try to relax, and gain my thoughts, and try to figure out where my life is heading. Back on the roller coaster, it seemed, with the water running down my face, I quickly discover that my aim of putting the shampoo in my hair must have worked a little bit, as I now have shampoo running into my good eye. What an idiot. And standing in the shower with one eye half frozen, dry as a desert, and the other eye with fresh shampoo runoff in it, I was very quickly questioning how it all went wrong. The biggest take of all adventure, which I hope I never ever have to go through again, is when my son washes his hair and he gets some of the young kid's shampoo in it. I tell him that it's not that hard, mate, just keep your eyes closed, and tell him he's lucky that his shampoo doesn't burn. I got a big dose of karma. So tomorrow, when I get my son for the week, I will be telling him how I almost blinded myself, and accidents can happen when washing your hair. After the shower, I went and got some eye drops from the shop to help with the dryness, so hopefully all good by morning. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Embarrassing Stories, episode 86. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. If you enjoyed the video, then please do like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. It is very much appreciated. Alright, we have a triple as a first for us. We have a triple birthday shout-out to do today. These are going to all members of the same family. Okay. Let's see, we have the mother is Joyce Baldwin Jones. Joyce will be 56 today. Baby cousin Kelsey. Birthday is tomorrow. Kelsey will be 3. And Donald Baldwin, who sent the request in. Donald is but a baby. Donald is only 39 years old on the 14th. I'm of course going to sing happy birthday to you all. I don't know how I'm going to do that to 3 people at once, but let's find out. I better stretch first before I do this. Here we go. There we go. Here we are. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joyce, Kelsey, and Donald. Happy birthday to you. Well, there we go. Made it through that in one piece. There we are. Lovely. This is what you achieve if you believe in yourself. Okay, and I'm going to go for now because I have another video to record. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourself.